really appreciate you jumping on just to share a little bit about your experience of working with me. And I know you were telling me that you've got a few things written down that you wanted to share. So I'll leave you to share those, and then maybe afterwards I'll ask you some questions. So,
Yeah.
what would you like to say?
Well, thank you, Sarah, for your grace, your presence in my life. Before you came into my life, I didn't know how to live each day, and I didn't want to live because I had looping thoughts, and they were constantly going, and I didn't know how to stop them. I didn't know, I knew why they were there, but I really wanted to know internally what the reason was. I felt it internally that there was a lesson that I had to learn. But you taught me through the hemotherapy, we released it. And I can look at those feelings and ask myself, do these feelings truly belong to me? And they don't. And what you taught me is that I can release them and hold no attachment to the feelings. And if they are my feelings and my thoughts, I sit with it and I process. And the calmness that I get from it that you taught me, I ask myself, does it serve me? What do I need to learn? And I learn from it. And I, have learned not to take things on as well, from other people. What they have going on, I don't let affect me because again, I know it doesn't serve me. Their thoughts and their feelings belong to them. Before, I used to hold on to everybody's thoughts and feelings, and that was crushing me. And I wasn't moving forward with my life. I, um, my goals that I had, my dreams, my desires, I lost them. And in one hypnotherapy session, you brought those, we brought those back, and those were hidden for 20 years. And I could not believe that I forgot them. And when they came out, it was a light, and they are a light now. And I can't wait to follow those dreams and desires. And thank you for allowing me to, and helping me, because I feel like you did allow me, because you just showed me through the hypnotherapy and just who you are as a person. You opened me up. So thank you so much. And I cannot wait to continue the work with you. Um, and we're on a journey together. So thank you so much.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. That's number one, that brings me great joy, obviously, enormous joy and happiness. But also, that's it's very humbling to hear, because obviously I forget. And recently, the version of you that I've been working with is the version you are now. And
Mhm.
we've been working on all your hopes and dreams and your expansive vision and all of those things. And like, I totally forget who you were in the beginning. And to hear to hear that reminder, that's really amazing, you know. And it's important to acknowledge as well, like, you did this work, all of
Yeah.
this was inside of you. This is all wisdom and knowledge that, as you say, it was hidden, it was blocked because of different things. And the work that I do, I'm the facilitator. Like, I
Yeah.
get,
Yeah.
I'm the one that knows how the subconscious works. So I'm the one that knows how to help you get unstuck, right? But
Mhm.
it's a collaboration. And one of the things I think that you learn is that it's a powerful collaboration between you and your subconscious mind. And when you
Yeah.
learn how it works, you really can use it to work with you, and like to totally change and transform who you are. And that hearing you talk about who you used to be is a reminder to me of how powerful and how complete and incredible that transformation has been. because I had forgotten that
Yeah.
old version of you.
Yeah.
So thank
Well,
you.
I was in a very dark place, and I didn't want to live anymore.
I don't think I
And
knew that.
yeah,
I don't think
yeah, I
I
didn't want to live. And there was times where I thought, if because the looping thoughts were so um they controlled my life. They controlled me. It was every second that they would just come in.
right.
A- And there was times that I thought, what if I wasn't here anymore? I wouldn't have to deal with it.
Yeah. And when you remind me of that,
Mhm.
that you're like you really have come an incredibly long way. And I just
Yeah.
think that's so powerful for for people to see, because I think we have a tendency in the medical world these days, when
Mhm.
people are working with mental health, they get the impression that they can't heal in this way, that this kind of transformational change isn't possible. And I
Yeah.
just love it when my clients show up and kind of say, well, actually, yes, it is, because this is where I was. So,
Yeah. And in that moment, you think um, there is no hope, you know,
yes.
um, and I have tried different things, but nothing worked.
Hmm.
And they would just still come back. And then I took the chance of, you know, doing the hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
And it was the first call that we had, um, the 30-minute call. And I just knew from your presence, your openness and willing to listen and saying, you've been there, you know, we can work through this. Wait till you see the other side. So that gave me a calmness and a feeling that this was the hope.
The hope. That's the important thing, I
I
think.
needed the hope, and I
Yeah.
had no hope.
Yeah.
And so I do say, like, you gave me the hope. You in, instilled that, and then I committed myself to doing the work
Yeah. That's
and
important.
the process.
You did the
Yeah.
work. That's a very common thing that I hear, of course, people who've been in the system for many, many years and they
Hmm.
have lost hope. And the
Hmm.
important thing is to understand that so many of these things that we deal with mentally and emotionally, we can't deal with them in the conscious mind, because that's
Hmm.
not where they're stored. That's not where they're created and projected from. But when we find them in the subconscious, we can totally change them. And
Hmm.
that's what's important. So, and I like thank you for trusting me. That's a
Yeah.
big thing in itself, right?
Yeah.
When
The
you've already
trust.
been through so much, not just in your healing journey, but in what you go through before, that means you need a healing journey.
Hmm.
You learn not to trust people. And I never take it lightly. And I always do think it is a real privilege and a responsibility when people trust me in the way that you did. And I
Yeah.
do take that very seriously. And nothing gives me more joy in my life than hearing stories like yours and realizing where my clients have got to. Because, of course, we have
Yeah.
those massive aha moments and those shifts as we go along. But then I start working with the new version of you, and it's very, very easy to forget where you were, you know.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that's a good reminder.
Yeah. And going back to the trust, building the trust, it helped me, when I was in the hypnotherapy and could go into myself subconscious,
Yeah.
um, trusting that process and just internally, taking it ease and being like, wait, I can trust what's happening here.
Yeah.
What my subconscious is telling me, I can trust it.
Yeah. That's important too, because I think what people probably don't realize is how easy it is when it's like a conversation, isn't it? And how easy it is when we ask the subconscious a key question, how amazing it is that it gives you exactly what you need to know and to see. And I think
Mhm.
until people actually experience that, that's quite uncanny, the way that
Yeah.
that happens. But
Yeah.
yes, you can absolutely trust what comes up.
Mhm.
So, and
Yeah.
trusting yourself as well. because obviously so many of
Mhm.
your experiences teach you that you can't do that. And of course you can, but it's putting
Yeah.
that aside. So,
Yeah, it's learning to trust and building that relationship with your subconscious. Um, so then, things that come up now, I can just trust what's going on and just relax myself and think about my subconscious and process it easier because I can internally feel those feelings, but then release them,
and that's the thing is,
knowing.
understanding is power. And when you
Hmm.
know how your subconscious works, why
Hmm.
it's doing what it's doing, you understand that you
Yeah.
actually have the control to tell it, no, I don't want you to do that. I want you to do this instead. And you
Hmm.
can learn to do that. And
Yeah.
yeah, obviously that's a part of the work that I do. And you obviously do that very well. So that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think a day has gone by where I don't say or have to ask myself, is this for me? Is this serving me? And just tapping into myself, subconscious. And I can easily, I mean, it tells me, no, this
Yeah,
isn't your feeling. And then I just can move on with no
amazing.
attachment.
Imagine how different everyone's lives will be if everyone could look at all the things that happen, all the things that get said, everything we experience, and look at it and say, hang on, is this for me? Does this serve me? Do I need this?
Hmm.
And reject what isn't yours, reject what doesn't empower and support you.
Yeah.
What a great skill to have learned.
Yeah. Lighter.
Of course.
Just yesterday, a work situation came up, and before I would have took it on, and I would have been so upset. And yesterday, I looked at it, and I thought, this isn't for me. It's not my thought or my feeling. And I just was able to walk away unattached. I was like lighter. I was like,
That's
I don't need to handle the situation.
That's truly amazing,
Yeah.
Christina, the way you've taken all of that on and just really like that's your inner wisdom that we have tapped into and that you are just using and bringing to the surface to support you in your everyday life
Yeah.
and in a way that you didn't know how to do before. So,
No, and I didn't know how to use my voice either.
mhm,
And I could use my voice now in my true power.
yeah,
In
which
my
of
true
course
power.
comes from you now have a foundation
Conscious.
of
Yeah.
is based on your understanding your value and worth and your
Yeah.
importance as a person. So,
Hmm. And my confidence
yeah, exactly.
and
Yeah,
knowing my feelings and my, like you said, my values and my worth
yeah,
and trusting
amazing.
that. Yeah.
It really has been an incredible journey. So,
It has been.
yeah, I look forward to continuing it. So, because
Yes.
that's the thing, of course, we're multi-layered, and once we get to a certain point, we realize that there's so much more, and that we really can become, be, do, and have whatever we desire. We just have to move everything out of the way that has taught us that that's not true. So,
Hmm.
yeah. So, well,
Yeah.
I'm
It's,
excited about where you are and what's
thank
ahead.
you.
I know you're in a
Yes.
much bigger container now. I know that. This new
Yeah.
expansive version of you. I know.
It
Yeah,
is
because
a container with no limits.
yeah, because absolutely, because when we like what our first sessions, if you think we're all about your healing and getting you unstuck and going through these first layers, whereas now when we have a session, it's all about these hopes and dreams and plans that
Hmm.
you have and the steps towards them. Like it's
Yes.
very, very different. It's like
Hmm.
when we start, this is what I say to people when we start, it's all about healing, 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 healing. And it's so hard. It's so hard. It really is, but worthwhile. But then we get to the point where it's like it's still healing because it's always healing, but it's growth, it's expansion,
Yes.
it hopes, dreams, plans. It's that the focus of it shifts. Yeah. And
Hmm.
that's where you've got to.
Yeah. Just
Good.
continue the path because when things come up, I can, um, we can heal it and then continue on the path to fulfilling my dreams and goals.
Yeah, that's the important thing, because you've got that foundation now. When those few things do come up for you, or
Hmm.
even if they're big things, like we all still have big things come up, they're much easier to deal with, right?
Yeah.
Because you've got this solid foundation in who you are now. So
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
amazing.
It's
Wow.
exciting when you start and then just continue.
It is very exciting. I'm really excited to see where we get
Hmm.
to next in your life, yeah, and what this becomes from you, for you, compared to where you were and what your life was. Yeah, very
Yes.
exciting. Okay, thank you for
Thank you.
sharing that. That is going to be so inspirational to so many people, I'm sure. And I really appreciate you sharing that. And I never take it lightly, because I know that it's very personal. And I really do appreciate you speaking up and telling people what is possible when you commit to do this work in this way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's
And
possible.
you will have a massive impact on so many people. So
Yeah.
that's a great
Well,
feeling.
thank you.
Thank you. And we've got a session next week. So
We do.
I look forward to it. All right.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, enjoy your weekend.
You
Take care.
too.
We'll speak
All
next week.
right.
All
Okay.
right.
Bye.
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 If you've enjoyed my video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up to show that you like it, and leave a comment. If you ask a question, I'll get back to you. And why not subscribe to the channel to make sure that you never miss any of my new content.